Hey lovelies, so I have been wanting to cover this story, but why I took my time is when it comes to religion and anything that has to do with pastors and churches, people are very sentimental when it comes to that. And I want you guys to listen to understand. And if you feel the need to attack, please go ahead eventually, because what I'm going to say has to be said. Now, when it comes to religion, why I say it's a very sensitive topic is because majority of people need something to believe in. A lot of people these days believe more in the institution of a church and pastors more than they believe in God himself. And I would explain that to you. Now, let's take me for example. When majority of people look at me, they look at me as just an ordinary person, just coming online and posting. But when it comes to spirituality, oh Lord have mercy, you cannot even stand next to me when it comes to spirituality. The God I believe in is very much alive and he is very much present. I have been introduced to a lot of things that would normally scare the craps out of people, and I have seen things in this life that any normal eye shouldn't see. And I know majority of you can't see it, but there's a way of protection around me. Only those who have a strong eye can see it. And there's nobody in my life that I do not explain how true God is to them. And I always try to restructure the way they pray because a lot of people look at God as this master, this leader, instead of them to look at God as a father. A lot of people are more inclined to believe every single word in the Bible without questioning it because they feel like if they question the Bible, it's a disrespect or disregard to God, and it's not like that. God gave us the ability to question everything. Everything. And when you deal with God, you deal with him as a father. You have a silent interaction with him. You have a powerful interaction with him. A lot of what we see on the internet these days is a display of, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if to call it religious, but because it has been infused in our brains for so many years, this is the pattern we go on. And I don't question it. I really personally don't care how people want to believe as long as they believe. And this is why I am sorry, but you will never in this life get me to believe in speaking in tongues. This has been a debated topic for a lot of years. And like I said, people have the right to believe in what they want to believe. But you will not tell me. My God says, speak to me directly and clearly. My message is never going to be lost when I speak to God because I am speaking in a language I do not understand. And on many different occasions, I have asked pastors about these. What are you saying exactly? Do you understand the words that you speak? And they tell me no. It is a spiritual language between you and God. But let's not even forget, Satan and evil itself also came from God, and there's even a closer connection to him. So why would I speak to my God in a language I do not understand? But of course, when you speak about things like this, people get very sentimental. People get touchy-feeling because this is something that has been built into them for centuries. It's almost saying that the average believer, when they believe in God directly, it's not good enough because we do not speak the language we do not understand. If I ask any pastor again, because I have done this for years, ask them about this aspect of spirituality, they don't understand it. So how do I know I'm not speaking some demonic language in the idea of I'm speaking to God? Speak to God clearly. Now, building a relationship with God is very personal. And yes, as children of God, you should spread the word of God further down the line. But the way we have done it, the church is supposed to be a place where we come to share experiences, where we come to learn the Bible, because your personal relationship with God is separate also from your relationship with the Bible. The Bible is like a guideline. The Bible is an instruction in a way for us to live. And this is why it is always good to get different perspectives. This is why the church is there. You don't have to agree with me, but it is okay. I have seen things in my life that I stopped asking God, why me? I understood exactly what he was always trying to say. Even when it comes to my hands, for example, I could question God and say, why do I have an autoimmune problem? But then again, from my God, he told me this is a reminder for you not to ever lose yourself as a person. We are so desperate as humans to believe in something without really believing. Why is it? Have you ever sat down to ask yourself, why is there so much crime and why is there so much hate in the world? Why is there so much injustice in the world? Because after all, 90% of Christians go to church. They believe in the system. You don't ask yourself those questions because they believe more in the institution than they believe in God. They do not know how to have a personal relationship with God. Now, we are going to speak about this on a later day because I know there's so much to unpack. But let me even play you a quick video of speaking in tongues and you tell me if this is of God. I swear to God, after I watched those videos, I literally had to go pray. I had to wash myself of things I heard and saw. That is not Christianity. That is not praying to God. That sounds demonic to me, and there's nothing anyone can tell me about that. That is a belief that we created. Oh, God have mercy. Anyway, let's speak about Tonto Dikeh right now. Now, Tonto Dikeh is a woman who has had a full life, and yes, like every other individual, we've all done good and bad. She has had her own fair share of the world, and now recently she became a Christian, a pure Christian, a true believer in God. And to be honest, it's very beautiful to watch. It is beautiful to see how someone like her could just transform her life, but also you have to be careful how you present your information to people because number one, she has a very big platform. Number two, humans, especially in Nigeria here, we are very gullible when it comes to spirituality. I would never say that her faith is unreal because you know what? She alone knows the connection she has between herself and God. But this is where you have to be careful also because if you're going to ride this wave and ride this path, that means you have to check yourself and be careful. And we're going to speak also about her deliverance video because that to me was so disturbing. Now, with a person like Tonto that has a platform, and this is no attack to anyone, as a person like her who has such a huge platform, people are more inclined to believe her story because number one, she is the woman who has displayed like, listen, this is the life I lived before and this is where I am today. So people want and desperately want that redemption. They desperately want that belief. So it is very, very easy to accumulate a lot of followers with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with prayers. And she does the whole speaking in tongues thing. Me, whenever I see those videos, I just move past it because I understand what God has told me and how he works. But everybody will believe what they want to believe. I myself, when I saw that she became so religious, I said, see, it's a matter of a year or two, you're going to see she's going to make a church, because that's the next step. That's always how it goes. Remember, this is no judgment to her, but let me even mention something. When you decide to go on this path where you have thousands, hundreds of thousands of people following you, you need to be very straightforward with your delivery. You need to be beyond the average normal Christian person, And I have something to mention. There was recently she had reconciled with the father of her child, which is very amazing for her kid, right? Now, also in the same part, based on how your relationship went, is how the forgiveness also will go. If you came from a toxic relationship, you cannot indirectly encourage women to just forgive and let toxicity enter because even God will go against that. Number two, because of your new reunion with your husband, thanks to your child, there has been a narrative on the internet about his new wife. A lot of people bashed her and said, oh, Tonto is coming for the husband. And you as a pure Christian, you never came out once to debunk this story. You never mentioned anything. You allowed that woman run herself crazy for a few moments, And what I find strange is the fact that her husband never even stood up for her. When we say we are looking for protectors, we need men to stand up and protect you from the public. Whether you love a person or not, as long as you're in the union of marriage, you have to stand up for them. My pain is that you stayed silent. If you say you're a pure Christian, that means you must have forgiven a lot of ill behavior. It doesn't matter if they directly or indirectly affected you. This is a married person. But let's leave that aside. Let's go to the video because I have one more minute. Now let's watch this video. Now, because of the time and how much I want to speak about, let's go to the next video, guys. Part 2 loading.